what I do when I spawn at these various common SCAV spots. So if I spawn in top of the mall, I go to that glass, right? So I'm on the top story of the mall, I run to the glass, and then you take a left down the last corridor. Then I sprint down that hallway, and the final store on the right is always lit up, and it's called Tech Light. It is a very common spawn that gets hit early in the map because it's near a very high value loot room that requires a key. So if you're a SCAV, just expect that the high value loot room is hit and it's already got everything out of it, or it's still locked. I've never found anything in there as a SCAV. But I will run through Tech Light to see if there's any various technology parts in there, wires. The thing that you'll find most often in the technology scores are items that lay very flat. So LCD screens, broken LCD screens, G phones, wires, things that have low profile and sit on those shelves. So I'll hit Tech Light from there, and then there's an escalator nearby, and you run down that escalator, and you turn right, and you're in Ollie. And we'll hit Ollie at the very end. But that's the first one. So second story, that's where you go. The next one I want to talk about is if you spawn in Idea. Now, I still get lost in Idea. This is the blue-walled megastore. But what I do if I spawn in Idea is I make my way to the back of it. So if you're looking at the map, I'm trying to get to the northeast corner of the Idea area. And the reason for that is I like to run through the storage room of Idea, and then you can go outside briefly, and then in the back hallway of Goshen, run the back hallway of Goshen all the way across, and then run outside briefly again and into Ollie. And again, we'll hit Ollie at the end. The reason that I run the back hallway of Idea and the back hallway of Goshen is you almost never encounter players back there, and there are critical parts for keeping your hideout going all the time, depending on what you like to make. I like to make mag boxes, which require metal cutting scissors, screw nuts, and bolts, and you can find those very, very commonly in these back hallways. And you can also find D-Fuel, which is one of the highest one-slot items you can find. I think it's like 37k right now for a one-slot item. And then you can also loot a bunch of tool chests back there. You can find fuel, but it's one of the best runs for keeping your hideout going. So if you spawn an Idea, northeast corner, run outside, run the far east hallway of Goshen, and then you come back to the back end of Ollie. The third one's really simple. If you start an Ollie, loot Ollie, you know? And what I find is typically I'm going to run the main floor of Ollie, and I'm not going to go super detailed on Ollie because we hit that last week, but run a giant U. And if for some reason you get to Ollie, you run the U, and you haven't got all of the parts to fill all of your slots, there are two hallways attached to Ollie, one on the west end, one on the east end, and there are computer rooms on either end. And most of the rooms that have computers have 3 computers that you can loot. And when I go hit these, I will almost always fill my bags, at least top them off here, and then able to EXFIL. And, you know, I do want to talk about the railway EXFIL, like Eric said, but I EXFIL out of the Emercom EXFIL as a SCAV because you always have it available. And like Eric, I have a 90+% success rate doing this, and the average is like 200k. But if you find water filters when you're running through Ollie, which is why I run it at night because they're hard to see, and if someone's moving through quick, they'll miss water filters. Those things are worth like 80k right now. So if you need them for your hideout, great. But if not, you can sell them and make great profit on those. But those are the 3 runs. And I'm going to say 5 out of 10 conservatively But I think 7 out of 10 times that you scav into Interchange, you're going to be in one of those 3 locations. Or you're going to be like in the basement of Idea near the escalator that goes up, or the basement of Ollie and go up. But like those are the spots, man. Like, have you like regularly spawned in somewhere else on Interchange?
No, not at all. I've regularly actually spawned in, I would say, over 50% of the time it's in Ollie.
Yeah.
And or it's right behind Idea. Like I'll spawn outside behind Idea, run down the back of Goshen, hit all the different various caches, and there's stuff on the shelves, whatever. Like you said, there's defuels, there's fuel cans, there's all kinds of things on those shelves. I actually found a weapons case that I didn't know existed behind the Connexes back there. Just all kinds of stuff like that. Just keep your eyes open for it, and I never see anybody. It's crazy. I never see anybody. There's maybe another scav, but I usually don't mess around with it unless I haven't found much and I have nothing to lose, then I'll shoot the scav just to get something. I think that in general, I end up running down the back of Goshen, and then I have a choice to make. If there's under 5 minutes left, I will run down the back of the ramp that's the back of Goshen there and jump off the bottom of the ramp before the fence starts, make my way through the hole in the wall, and then go out the long way to Emercom.
Yeah, so there's so many ways to do the Emercom exit. That's probably the safest one, in my opinion. And look, if you start an Idea and you run through Goshen and you have full bags, full pockets, and you've got 120,000 worth of loot or something, like, go EXFIL. Like, there's no problem with that. You don't have to maximize every slot. But as you get more comfortable with running Interchange, you'll be more comfortable maximizing every slot.